Hey everyone, wanted to shoot a quick getting started video with LadrillosJS. Ladrillos is a lightweight web component framework. So let's take a look here at our traditional way of creating web components. So we create a class, extend HTML element, we add our properties, create our element, add the text content to that, add an event listener, then append it to the shadow root. We have a method, and then we define it. This is one way of doing it. And what that produces here is a button that increments the count. Very basic. We've seen this a couple times. Cool. So with Ladrillos, instead of JavaScript files, we'll create HTML files. So let's create a new one called button.html. And then just to start off with the most simplest form, we'll create a button and we'll make it just say click 0. Great. And that's it. So then we just have to bring in the framework. So we can bring it in via a CDN or also npm install, but we'll do a CDN just for simplicity. Then we need to register the component. So to do that, we call LadrillosJS, and then we call the register component method. And this takes two properties. The first one is what we want to call. We want to define the component. So we'll say button-c, and then the path to that component. So this will be button.html. Great. All right. And then to use it, we bring it in just like we would. Great. Everything's working. Of course, not doing anything at the moment, but if we inspect them, we'll see they look basically they're identical. Simple as that to create a web component. Now, let's go back here, and of course we want to increment when we click on something. So as we saw, we define count. So let's do the same here. So we could either call an external JavaScript file, or we can also write it all in here as a single module. So let's say let count equal to 0. Okay, oops, forgot the T there. Great. And then we create a binding. So the binding, anything in curly braces, and we'll say count. So now this is bound to the variable count. So everything's still looking the same. Great. Now we just want to increment it. So if you see here, if I change this to 1, this updates to 1, 2, 3, etc. But of course we want to increment it. So let's create a function. Say const, and we'll call it the same thing as we have here, which was increment. And this will be an arrow function. And we'll just say count plus plus. Great. So now the button needs to have an on click. So when we click this, we'll run the increment function. So now when we click, now we start incrementing. And like I mentioned, both are exactly identical. Great. And this is simple as that. We can also add styles if we wanted to. Same thing, we can reference external styles, or we can add styles directly on the page. So if we wanted to say button, and then this is a background red, and just like that. And these are scoped to the component, so they won't touch anything outside. And still working there. Cool. Let's take it a step further. Let's try building something like, let's say, like a mood tracker. We want to have a couple different buttons, and we can set the mood how we're feeling. So let's get rid of, well, comment this out, start fresh, and let's create a few buttons here. And we'll create, let's say, a couple of different moods. And let's say we'll do this one would be cool. This will be thinking and tired. Great. All right, we can look at our component, and we have all our buttons there. Great. So what I want to do is when I click these buttons, I want to set the mood to these moods that we have here. So let's get our script going and we'll say let mood. And right now we'll just have it be blank. Okay. So let's just make sure this is working. So we'll say you are, or let's say you have been, and we'll say mood. And let's get, so there's no mood yet. So like I said, once we have in curly braces, this will bind to the element there. So if we say happy, this changes to happy. But for now, we'll do it blank. And then let's create a function called set mood. And then with the mood, for now, just to test this out, we'll say happy. Okay. Now, let's do it on click. And we'll say set mood. So now when I click on any of these, it'll set mood to happy. Great. But I don't want this to show all the time. I want it to only show when we've actually selected something. So Ladrillos has conditional rendering. So you can do data-if, and then you can pass in your condition here. So for now, we can just say mood. So basically it checks if it's falsy. So now it disappears, but the moment I click on something, mood gets set, and then we will be able to see it. And you can also do, it also works with else if. So if we say else if the mood equals, like let's say cool, then we'll say you've been cool. But of course, so by default, it'll set it to that. Oh, I forgot this. That's not the default. There we go. So now that won't show because we haven't set it to cool. And we can also do else, as you just saw, and this is the default. So what do you want it to say at the end? So we'll say no mood selected. So once I hit happy, changes to happy. If this was cool, then it'll say you have been cool. But it will, yeah. Great. Now let's just get rid of that. We don't need that. All right. So now I want to pass in the mood here. And we want to set the mood to the new mood. And we will add in here the different mood. So we'll say for this one, happy, cool, thinking, and tired. So now when we click on this, we can see it change. But let's also keep track of how long we've been in this mood, right? So let's create, we'll say you have been the mood, and then we'll say here for seconds. Okay, so let's keep track of these seconds. Equals 0. So now when I hit this, we'll see 0 there. But when I click on this, I want to increment that. So we'll set like a set interval. So let's keep track of this. So we'll hit a timer, and that way we can also clear the interval. So we'll say timer equals set interval. And here what we'll do is we'll increment the seconds up by 1 for each 100, or for each 1,000 milliseconds. So for each second, basically, it will increment, and then we will clear the interval as well. And let's also reset the time, the seconds there. Okay, so now when I hit happy, it'll start incrementing for each second, reset, and go back to that. Great. So now we're keeping track of how we've been feeling. It'd also be nice to get to set the mood like a different color as well. So we can also set it, we can also do styles. So we say styles, background color, and we can actually set bindings for that as well. We do get some syntax highlighting here that it's an error, but that's because there's no official support for that. But let's create that, and we'll just set it to like a gray here. Let's see. So now when I hit it, we'll have a background color. So it would be nice if anytime we click on this, we'll set a different color for each different mood. So let's support that. So we'll say new color, and then we'll set color to the new color. Great. So then we'll pass that in. We'll set this to a green. Let's just see that working. Cool. Green. So now it just, since there's nothing being set, it just defaults to nothing. But there we go. Let's take a look. So as you can see here, background color is set. We do that, it's set to nothing. Oh. Great. That's basically it. Just want to show a quick getting started. And let me know what you think. And here I'll have, let me just paste the finished code. So we'll add some styling. So we add our style tag in here. We have our script, and then we'll set to some emojis there. So now say how you're feeling. You hit cool, happy, cool, thinking, and tired. Great. Thank you.